Hey guys, Hopeless Hal here, coming at you with another episode. This time we'll be creating a homebrew monster. So if we create this from scratch, what we're gonna need is a monster's name. So we're gonna go with Omega Frog. Versions not really needed unless you make homebrew content to publish. Let's see. We also have monster type. There's aberration, beast, celestial, construct, dragon, elemental, fae, fiends, giant, humanoid, monstrosity, ooze, plant, undead, and unknown. Pretty much all of these are self-explanatory, with the only ones being a bit confusing, maybe fae, monstrosity, and aberration. There's also monster subtypes. I really don't recommend getting into this, but sometimes they just have little sub race things that they need to choose, like shape changer. That's a very common one. Size. All the sizes are listed here. I'm gonna go with huge. Swarm monster type. If this quote unquote monster is actually a swarm of other monsters, then you select what the swarm's made up of. We're gonna say it's a frog swarm. So we skip all the way down. Frog. Alignment. More intelligent monsters will often have an alignment, but some not so intelligent ones might just be unaligned. But for here, they have a hive mind, the Omega Frogs, so any chaotic alignment will do. Challenge rating. Usually you want to choose the challenge rating of the monster last, because after you've made everything, you can see just how strong your monster is and base the challenge rating off of that. But if you're making a monster for a certain party, then you might want to choose challenge rating first, as to not make it too hard, and then base their attacks and abilities based off of that. We're gonna go with challenge rating 7 though for this Omega Frog. This is where it starts to get a bit more complicated. Special traits and actions. Monsters tend to have special traits, especially the ones that aren't early game. So if we take this Barbed Devil here as an example, we'll see one of its special traits is Barbed Hide. At the start of each of its turns, the Barbed Devil deals 5, which is the average damage, or if you want to roll, 1d10 piercing damage to any creature grappling it. It also has a special ability or special trait of Devil's Sight. Magical darkness does not impede the Devil's dark vision. And it also has, finally, magic resistance. The Devil has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. Those are what special traits are. There can be many combinations of these things. But next up is spell casting. If this monster can cast spells, then you should fill that part out. An example here is the challenge rating 1/4 Acolyte. It's a very weak spellcaster. It has cantrips and first level spells along with the slots to cast them. They use the same rules as player characters. Actions and descriptions. This typically only applies with attacks, but with things like oozes, they might engulf someone. This section is basically what they can do with an action on the turn and isn't a passive trait like the special trait section. They can have multiple things: melee attacks, ranged attacks, spell attacks. Next up is reactions. Not too many creatures have special reactions, but if your creature does, like parrying with a weapon, you should put that here. Monster characteristics description. You can enter a general description for your monster here. Pretty neat. Okay. Uh, now we're back. And I have filled out everything. So we can move on to the next part. Bonus actions. If your creature has any bonus actions to use, then you can put them here. But next up is legendary and mythic. Is your creature legendary? Well, of course it is. Just kidding. But what does this mean? Well, if we take the adult blue dragon as an example, a legendary creature has legendary actions and typically legendary resistance. Legendary resistance is a limited use ability per day that if they fail a saving throw, they could just choose to succeed instead. But what are legendary actions? Well, legendary actions are normal actions that can be taken in between the player's turns, even if it's not the legendary creature's turn. Some of the things that they can use with legendary actions cost more than one legendary action, as the wing attack here uses 2 actions. But there's something a bit strange about legendary actions. If you notice, with using legendary actions, the dragon can use a wing attack, but there's no wing attack listed anywhere else. That means this dragon has an ability that can only be used with legendary actions. So keep that in mind when you make your creature if you want it to be legendary. So here the dragon has 3 abilities, and typically there's always 3. Detect. The dragon makes a wisdom perception check. Now, some players don't understand why this is here. This is here for those stupid little rogues who have a plus 25 to stealth, hiding from the oh so powerful dragon. And what this lets it do is it lets the dragon try again to find them. So, and since it only takes 1 action and has 3 legendary actions, it basically can make 3 checks to find the rogue without even wasting its turn. So, rogues beware. Dragons are no joke, even for you. Oh, and you regain all legendary actions when it starts its turn again. Tail attack. The dragon makes a tail attack. Typically, this is something that a legendary action would do. It takes an attack that's already in here, the tail attack right here, and it just adds it on as a legendary action, so it can attack when it's not its turn. And then there's the wing attack, the one that costs 2 actions. This is a special attack that can only be used with legendary actions. What this does is it beats its wings. Every creature within 10 feet of the dragon must succeed a dexterity saving throw of 20, or take 14, or 2d6 plus 7, bludgeoning damage and be knocked prone. And then the dragon can move up to half its flying speed. So yeah, a cool new special attack. Now, what is a mythic? A mythic is a very rare, very powerful type of creature that I recommend you go search for on your own. It's beyond legendary. It's a very powerful creature that even when it hits 0 hit points, it's just a monster with multiple phases, and you've just moved on to the next phase. And does it have a lair? Thankfully, I've chosen a legendary creature that also has a lair. So, what is a lair? Well, it typically tells you about its lair above the lair actions. But I'm not going to go into huge detail to bore you all. So I'm just going to tell you what the lair does. On initiative count 20, so basically, when you roll initiative with this guy, also put him down for as if he rolled a 20, no matter what he rolled. The dragon takes a lair action to cause one of the following effects, and the dragon can't use the same effects 2 rounds in a row. But remember, lair actions can only be used if it's in its lair. So, for this particular dragon, part of the ceiling collapses above one creature that the dragon can see within 120 feet of it. The creature must succeed a dexterity 15 saving throw, or take 10 or 3d6 bludgeoning damage and be knocked prone and buried. The buried target is restrained and unable to breathe or stand up. You can read the rules for reading later. A creature can take an action to make a dexterity 10 strength check, ending the buried state on a success. It can also make a cloud of sand swirl and lightning arcs appear, but you get the picture. Also, there's typically some regional effects that happen around their lair, like thunderstorms rage within 6 miles of the lair, dust devils scour the land, hidden sinkholes form in and around the dragon's lair. And of course, if the dragon dies, uh, some of the effects disappear within a few days, and some of them stay. So yeah, that's what a layer is. Now we get to the numbers part. Armor class. So how hard is it to hit your creature? Obviously it's a swarm of frogs, so you're bound to hit it, but you're not gonna kill all of them. So typically swarms will have lower AC. So we'll go for 12. Armor class type. If this would be natural armor, since they're not wearing any armor. If they're wearing armor, then you could put that here. Passive perception. This is how easily the monster's able to see things that are hiding, like sneaky rogues. Now, frogs don't have very high passive perception, but there's like 8 million of them in the swarm. Many eyes looking everywhere. So we'll give it a decently high one of 17. Hit points die count. How many dice will you roll if determining its HP? We're going to put you down for 6. We're also going to make them D10. And modifiers, so it's not just completely random, we'll put you down for 26. Don't actually need the plus symbol there. So for average hit points, it's going to have 33 plus 26. That's going to be 59. Now it's going to be its scores. So if we take this oh so mighty frog here, let's see. Strength, that's a 1. So, we're gonna make this a 5, because they could collectively work together. Dexterity, 13. These guys could dodge and weave them quite well. So, we're gonna make it so... We'll put it at a 16. A constitution score. These frogs aren't any tougher. They're just in a swarm. So we'll make it 8. Intelligence. They are a hive mind. They're able to make out speech now. Intelligence 6. Wisdom. Just because there's a lot of them doesn't mean they're any more wise. 8. If anything, they're more chaotic, so we'll put it down for 6. Charisma. The frogs are adorable. Do you see this face? I don't care if they can't speak or just don't have any charisma whatsoever. They are adorable. I'm putting them down for 20. Saving throw proficiencies. Obviously, frogs would have dex and constitution. Damage adjustments like resistances, invulnerabilities, immunities, and all that jazz. Let's see. There's a lot to choose from, some of which are a bit complicated. I'm going to put you down for psychic resistance. Bludgeoning. Slashing resistance, and we're gonna put you down for piercing immunity. Condition immunities. There's so many of them, but they can still be blinded. They can't be charmed. They never get exhausted. Can't be grappled. Can't be invisible. I guess they could all be paralyzed, but that's incredibly hard, so we'll put it down for now. They still could be petrified. They could still be poisoned. It's really hard to knock them all prone, so we'll put them down for now. Can't be restrained. And there's always one awake at any given time, so can't be unconscious. Monster environments. You could find this terrifying threat in forests, grasslands, hills, mountains, swamp, and the Underdark. Other options may include urban, underwater, desert, coastal, and Arctic, which I'll actually put them down for urban. They're everywhere. Language note. If it just has only languages of Inuit life and other various things like that, then you could put that here. Monster tags. There's a whole bunch of different tags that you could put. There's no frog tag. So we'll just put it down for nothing. And you can also have some pictures for your monsters if you want. But create monster. We aren't done just yet, though. Oh, it looks like I forgot to fill out monster type. So we're going to go with monstrosity. Actually, no, aberration. It's more fitting of these monstrous creatures. And then boom, it's been created. But we still have a bit more. If they could speak any languages, then we should add that. I said that they're able to speak now because because of the hive mind. So we'll put them down for common. Senses. Because there's so many of them, we'll put them down for tremor sense. And here's where you put for how far. I'll go for 30 feet. Skills. If these guys are good at any of the skills players might have, they can put them here. Obviously, these guys are incredible at athletics. Let's see. So here we would put base value. Typically, this is the skill ability modifier plus proficiency bonus. They want you to do the math on your own. Incredibly hard. So what I recommend is not doing the math and giving them an incredibly high score. Don't actually do this. I'm just messing around and showing you how to do things, not what to do. And additional bonuses like from magic or other various things that go beyond proficiency. So 5. This thing's incredible athletics. They've been working out all together. They've been each other's training buddies. These guys are also good at deception. Let's put them down for like 9 again. But you could put other skills that you think your monster might be good at. And finally, movement options. How does this guy move? So these guys could burrow, but only about 5 feet because they're still frogs. Sorry, you're not supposed to put feet. Feet is already there. Let's see. These guys can climb. They're frogs. We'll put them for 20 because they're excellent jumping skills. They can't fly. No matter how many of them there are, doesn't help the fact that they literally can't fly. Swimming speed, we'll put them down for 30. And finally, walking speed. These guys are scary fast. We'll put them down for 35. And boom. There you go. You've made your monster. Now, of course, this is just a basic template. Obviously, you can expand on your monster however you want. But I hope this helps you in any way, shape, or form. So, that's how you make the Omega Frog. That's all for now. Bye!